Wallstone, had voted against the full repeal of the estate tax. But he had also voted to exempt family farms and small businesses and to exempt all other estates up to 8 million. You know, if anyone hated the small farmer, or in fact the little guy in general, it was Wallstone. That's why they had to plant the crowd for his memorial. Bush used the tax death issue in particular every stump speech he gave, laminating and the devastation it visited on family farmers and small business owners. The Republicans pushed the estate tax repeal as the middle-class tax relief issue. With some success, 17% of Americans thought the estate tax would apply to them. In fact, the tax affects less than 2% of estates, and nearly half of the revenue it produces comes from taxes on 0.16% of estates, worth an average of $17 million, belonging to about 3,300 families each year. In 1999, fully a quarter of the estate revenue came from just 467 estates. Oh boy, the New York Times said the estate tax is explicitly for the mega upper class. Bush has said that it is immoral to tax people when they die. Since we are currently experiencing a $450 billion deficit, the amount of the revenue being lost by the phase-out and eventual repeal of the estate tax will have to be made up by taxes on you and me and God knows who else. It is arguably more moral to tax an incredibly rich person who is dead than a middle or working class person who is still alive. The living person might use the money for medical care, food, travel, or other things that dead rich people don't have to think about. The other bogus argument put forth by opponents of the estate tax is that it amounts to double taxation. The idea is that you pay taxes as you accumulate your fortune, and then your children have to pay on it again when you die. There are two problems with this argument. First, everyone pays double taxation all the time. Sales tax, for example, or taxes, already taxable income, fees like your driver's license. So the Republicans basically just devour you and give you a lot of bogus statistics, and as they're chewing at your legs and giving you these dishonorable speeches and making jokes like Bush did. We got a trifecta. We got an economy in crisis and a war and an economical downfall that we're all just basically losing our jobs, and this trifecta is just, basically out of control, and therefore we can basically have more of a deficit. Well, it's hard to get these wolves off your back, and you won't until everybody wakes up, until they really realize that basically your license and the license permit for those in the business of selling licenses, it's basically called triple taxation, I think. Then you have those import taxes, bridge tolls, car registration, taxes on alcohol, gasoline, and tobacco are all double taxes. So your property taxes, which tax assets brought with already taxable income. However, the repeal of the estate tax will create a way to avoid not just double taxation, but also single taxation. Here's how to do it. Buy an enormous amount of stock or property, let it accumulate value, die. Now the money goes to your kids, who escape both estate and capital gains taxes. Thanks to Bush, by 2010, only one thing will be certain in life, and that thing is either death or taxes. This new tax loophole is now a trivial matter for estates worth more than $10 million. Over 56% of those valued will come from unrealized capital gains. Capital gains comes from money making money without anyone actually working. Thirds, our nation's most generous tax laws will not apply to the children of the very rich, inheriting money even their parents didn't earn. Instead of giving $60 billion a year to our country's children, we could be paying for things like school programs, military bases, children's vaccinations, maybe. Third world countries, prosecution of polluters, health care for veterans. All things which Bush had cut. Take your pick. Which is more important, making sure that Ivana Trump will be able to live in her style to which she's grown accustomed to, or that Donald has left our world, or another place that the average American wants to live, in a safe hometown type of environment?